Cell phone bans in schools do not work. At least that's what the research is saying. And maybe this is controversial coming from a teacher, but I kind of agree with it. Let me know if you think I'm wrong though, and let's talk. Okay, so earlier today, Taylor Lorenz put out a newsletter saying that there's a new study talking about how cell phone bans don't actually work in schools. If you haven't read this already, highly recommend it, and I'm gonna have the link in my stories. It's referencing this article. And in the study, they took 30 schools, 20 that had very restrictive cell phone policies, 10 that had more permissive ones, looked at about 1,200 students across the schools. They did not find any evidence that restrictive cell phone policies led to better mental health and well-being or better academic outcomes. As someone that teaches, that doesn't surprise me. In my experience, are cell phones an issue in class? Yeah, absolutely. Not only are they a disruption and a distraction to kids, it could also lead to online bullying, kids meeting up to have fights in the hallway or bathrooms. Like, I'm not saying phones aren't an issue. I just don't think that a cell phone ban is the way to solve these issues. I'm a teacher that does not let them have phones and headphones out in my class, but that's always been my rule, and I have always enforced that rule. In my opinion, a school-wide cell phone ban is only effective when administration is willing to do all of the enforcement. But unless you have an administrator that is willing to do that constant enforcement, how is a school-wide ban any different from me having a rule of no cell phones in my classroom? I'm going to extend that even further because we're hearing a lot now about different states passing legislation to ban cell phones from classrooms. How is that going to work? The governor's not going to walk into my building to make sure kids don't have phones away. The legislature is not going to be in my classroom upholding that and the consequences. And it's going to fall on school level admin and the teachers. And again, at that point, how is it any different from just a teacher rule in the classroom? Part of this is being colored by the fact that I am a high school teacher. I briefly taught middle school, but it was like a decade ago when cell phones weren't really a thing. In a high school classroom though, first of all, I'm not fighting with a 17 or 18-year-old to lock up their phone somewhere. I think it's really important, especially at a high school level, that we are teaching kids how to use this piece of technology, this mini computer in their pockets, in a responsible way. How do you use it to do research and understand if that research is factual or not? How are you using it to do these higher level complex calculations? I remember being in school being told you need to know how to do this without a calculator. You're not always going to have a calculator in your pocket, except now we do. And that's why I kind of think that this is like a sort of moral panic. Are phones an issue? Yes. Is our students' mental health an issue? Yes. But I don't think phones are 100% responsible for that. I think we need to look around at like the burning world around us and think, maybe that plays a part. But I don't know. I'm open to hearing thoughts.